07 citizens, Black here from CasaBLACK Gaming, and today I'm happy to have an early loadout for the brand new Mirai Fury. Now, for those who don't know, the Mirai brand is a performance brand offshoot of MISC, so basically those ships that have more of the Xi'an design core will fall under this brand name, and the Furies are a set of ships that are coming out for Invictus Week 2953 on Friday, May 19th, and so you will be able to pick these up then. But with all that is going on for me this week, I wanted to get this loadout in your hands since we already know the ship specs, so as soon as you have the ship in your hands, you'll be able to grab the parts that you will be able to swap out, because some of them will not be something we can change. I will of course be picking up both the Fury and the Fury MX for testing purposes and to do reviews for, so be sure to be on the lookout for those after they release and once I've had time to fly them. They look to be fun little ships, and hopefully there could be more on the way from this brand, including possible some sort of larger mother launch ship, but I would really hate to see another concept ship announced until CIG takes care of some of that backlog. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to this loadout. Now, of course, I like to start these loadouts with the ship components first, as they are usually the starting point for anyone who might have just recently picked this ship up and need to know how to get the ship going with the best components for getting around the verse and staying safe. So for the first component, let's talk the power plant, which will need one of the grade A military JS300s, which are nice power plants to go with its really quick reboot time from distortion damage and its 875 health pool. Since the ship is primarily a combat ship, you will get two options. The second I will show in just a moment, so depending on which of the strengths or weaknesses fit your playstyle and enemies that you're going to come into contact with will depend on which of these you will choose. The locations, price, and more info is shown now on the screen. So as an alternative, you could go with one of the Quadracells, which are another grade A military power plant with slightly less health, but a decent power plant to go with if you want a little more distortion shutdown damage pool, but slightly slower reboot max time. So for the coolers, you can skip these for now as far as we know, because they are almost useless for most ships until we get the ship components revamped, possibly later this year. However, I will list the coolers to swap to if for some reason this new ship has coolant issues. So if you find yourself running hot and losing ship function or power, grabbing coolers or changing the power plant might be needed, and so I recommend two of the Glaciers with their pricing and locations showing on the screen now. And let's go ahead and move on to the shields. Now the Furies get a single size 1 bubble shield, meaning your entire ship is surrounded by a force field type bubble that can block damage until its health is brought down. You again have two choices for this component, and again each will be a choice for you depending on the type of combat and fire that you're coming under. The most popular FR66 shields, which is the graphic on the screen now, have great distortion shutdown damage, but at a slower reboot time by 12 seconds over the next shield choice. The FR66 does have quite a bit more of a health pool though. The next shield you can go with is the Palisade, with its pricing and location now on the screen. It has slightly more physical absorption over the FR66's. The shutdown distortion damage is quite lower though, so if you're coming under a lot of distortion fire, this might not be the shield for you. But it does have the quicker reboot time over the FR66, but lower health pool overall. Last but not least for the ship components is the Quantum Drive, but this ship being a snub ship does not have a Quantum Drive, so this will be a pack and carry ship and not something autonomous, which is a deal breaker for some. Alright, now let's move on to the weapons, and I first wanted to say that I do not have any fighter or flight footage of this ship since it was not available to fly at the time of this recording. The Fury MX does not come with any guns, so I will skip it in this section until we reach the missiles. Now as far as laser repeaters, the regular Fury comes stock with 4 size 2 CF227 Badgers, which is really crazy for a ship of this size. You can swap the laser repeaters for different weapons if you so choose to do so. You are able to add gimbals and switch down to a size 1 weapon if you want to, and need a little more auto aim but at a reduced damage per second cost, so if you need that ability, it is there as an option. If you get higher up in the bounty tiers and are feeling like the laser repeaters just aren't doing it for you, if you're actually doing bounties with this ship, then try swapping those laser repeaters for laser cannons, and the ones that I would go with are 4 of the FL-22s. The alpha damage really picks up with the laser cannons over the repeaters, although you will be firing at a slower rate, which is normal for the laser cannons. They can be found at the locations on the screen. Now, if you wanted to go full ballistic Gatlings, you could do that as well. Just understand that with these harder piercing rounds, you will have to contend with your ammo running out versus using laser weapons. The 4 guns I would buy if you were going this route are 4 of the Scorpion GT215s, which are on the screen and can be found where listed. Okay, so let's move on to the missiles. The regular Fury comes with 4 size 2 missile racks that are locked into place and cannot be swapped, and they each hold a single size 2 missiles. So the only recommendation I have for this Fury version is to swap those infrared missiles that come stock with electromagnetics, because those seem to find their targets more than the other types until a component revamp is done. Now, as far as the Fury MX and missiles, here's where things just get ridiculously crazy. It gets 12 missile racks, all of which are locked into place so you can't change them. 4 of those are size 3s that each hold 2 missiles for a total of 8 size 2 missiles there. Then there are 4 more size 2 racks that hold a single size 2 missile, for now a total of 12 size 2 missiles. Be sure to switch these size 2s to 12 of the Dominator 2 electromagnetics, and it will be really hard for anyone to dodge that many shots. Then of course there are 4 more missile racks that can each hold 2 of the size 1 missiles for a total of 8 size 1 missiles. You get to shoot 20 missiles total, which is just insane for a ship of this size. Now you can switch the size 1 missiles all to electronic magnetic Pioneer 1s, and once again you have even more missiles that are not going to miss their targets as often. The Fury MX will just be a little fire bomber, blasting out either 20 individual shots for some awesome support, or you could even mix it up and go 5 rounds of 4 missile barrages, which would just look epic, honestly. This might be a great little secret weapon support ship to let out when your larger ship is coming under fire from ships your larger ship might not be able to counter or move along with. Alright, and so that's going to do it for this loadout of the all-new Mirai Furies. I am keen to hear your thoughts on these little ships and which one, if not both of them, are interesting to you. What ideas do you have about them? How do you see them being used, whether solo or in orgs? As usual, please like, subscribe, and comment down below because I'd love to hear from you and your thoughts on these and other ships. Now, please remember to be kind to your fellow gamer. Having more support ships is never a bad thing, and stay positive citizens.